ultimate fishing authority in the Northeast, the Fisherman magazine.
No guessing, just catching. New Explore Series fish finders keep you locked on fish with unbeatable clarity, best-in-class imaging options, and a stunning ultra-bright HD screen. There's more to explore, only with Humminbird.
The Fisherman's publisher, Mike Caruso, with New Jersey Marketing Director John DeBona right there as well on the way down the escalator and onto the floor of ICAST last week. New England's Mike Hashey, Long Island's Matt Broderick. Here's looking at you, kid. Jenni Ackerman, of course. Dave Anderson is around someplace. Quite a few stars, if you will, too. Saw Roland Martin, Kevin Van Dam, Bill Dance, and not just Guy Harvey, but comedian Steve Harvey. That will be an upcoming editor's log, as I had no idea of the incredible involvement the Family Feud host has had with introducing kids, especially urban area folks in Atlanta, Georgia, to fishing. Very, very cool stuff. I learned a lot, as always, at ICAST 2025. I'm Jim Hutchinson with the New Jersey, Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine. Back at my desk, we've been working all this week on compiling all the video features from ICAST. I think we have 60 that will be running on a bi-weekly, twice-a-week basis. The first one Thursday, today, on YouTube. It was spotlighting the Chimera electric jet fishing kayak, the Flux Jet, not the Flux Capacitor, the Flux Jet. That took the coveted Best of Show award this year at ICAST. Now, there was a sneak peek that was released earlier this week on Monday. I'll share that at the end of this week's video, and I know Jenni has a few thoughts from ICAST as well to share in a few moments. But first, I want to address a little bit of a viral controversy that came out of ICAST this year. So regardless of what you may have seen, this was not a kiss cam moment, as I've explained profusely to my wife, in addition to Steve Harvey and all the rest of the stars. That was Jennifer Aniston right there near the largemouth bass tank at ICAST, and she stumbled and almost fell in, and I had to reach and grab her to save her. So I need that to be stressed right up front. In fact, those largemouth bass were very hungry. I was concerned about her safety. Now that we've cleared that up, let's move on to the latest catches and reports and take a look at what's in store for anglers this weekend in the New Jersey, Delaware Bay region. And it all starts with a look at this week's digital weekly cover. Brendan Wiles' potential line class record sheepshead. We shared it recently, but that's our cover, and the headline says it all. From the subject line especially of the email that you subscribers received on Monday, red hot South Jersey sheepshead. Now, that particular reference comes from Dave Scholl at Absecon Bay Sportsman Center in his Sunday report. You'll see all the fishing reports every Monday posted at thefisherman.com. But Dave noted how sheepshead action is still on fire, with sand fleas or mole crabs being the top bait to fish up to 6 pounds. That's coming from Atlantic County. But while I was sweating my way through Orlando last week, Timmy Bazzelli emailed to let us know he was fishing with Captain Scotty Sevens, whose cover photos appear frequently here at the Fisherman magazine. But Scotty is a guide behind Ocean City and put Timmy on a banner day with the sheepshead, had an 11-pounder. That, of course, now we're behind Ocean City, Summers Point. We're talking Atlantic and Cape May County areas. And then John Creeley let me know, he sent him a montage of sorts from Saturday. He said it was a little slow on the kayak with colder water on the incoming tide. So the sheepshead were a little sluggish, but he still went 1 for 3, tagging those fish somewhere in Cape May County. He noted the bottom sweeper jigs are his go-to. Now, I'll remind you that starting next Friday, August 1st, New Jersey will have that 1 blackfish bag limit in place again, 15-inch minimum size. And that's typically when a lot of the Jersey Shore tackle shops start carrying the green crabs or the mole crabs, the sand fleas, the sand crabs, because that's fantastic along the jetties and the bridge structure and the rubble. But that's also when a lot of folks who are targeting blackfish end up catching one of those sheepshead as well. I'm looking forward to giving it a shot in the upper stretches of Barnegat Bay. But wherever you are in the Garden State, the sheepshead seem to be continuing their proliferation and migrating throughout the region. So you might want to give that a shot, especially when you have that 1 blackfish limit. Now, looking at those beautiful vertical stripes on that sheepshead, it brings me to another striped visitor from Manasquan we've spoken about in the last several weeks. And this perhaps may be the very same stripe visitor that we shared a few weeks ago. This is from Brian Darling. He sent this crystal clear video clip from the Manasquan, said he believes it's a pilot fish. It could be. But again, I sent this over to New Jersey Marine Fisheries Bureau Chief Jeff Brust, who said, quote, 2 of my 3 go-tos for fish ID said banded rudderfish. Haven't heard from the third, but we'll let you know if it's any different. So the common thought is it's either a pilot fish or a banded rudderfish. I'm going to go with the division folks thinking that that's a smaller banded rudderfish. And again, when those fish come out of the water, just like a puppy drum, they lose their color rather quickly. Sheepshead as well. The longer they're out of the water, the more the color of those pronounced stripes disappears. Some more oddities this week at the Jersey Shore. Devin Chakrabarty said he and his crew, after having caught one of these last summer, they've now started targeting snowy grouper in the deep, and he's running out of Great Egg Inlet. Last week, Devin told me, quote, we put in some time to explore a new area, and it paid off with this beast of a fish, a 55-pound snowy grouper that hit the scale at Seaview Harbor Marina. That was hand-cranked, caught on a jig on hard bottom, somewhere offshore aboard Good Chemistry. I did speak to Darren Doris, who has written for the Fisherman magazine over the years. We were talking a little bit about snowy grouper. Hope to hear more about how these Good Chemistry folks are targeting those. But thanks, Devin, for sharing that image. I do remember years ago with the late Dave Arbeitman from the Reel Seat in Brielle, caught a 67-pound, 11-ounce snowy grouper on an offshore trip aboard the Voyager out of Point Pleasant. That just missed the IGFA world record by less than 3 pounds. So it does show you what you can find when you're plying those deep waters. And again, we've had some pretty good action on the tilefish, especially over recent years. I go back to ICAST with braid and the new hardcore reels and the hard gearing of the reels. Folks are dropping deeper than they ever have been. So a lot of folks on these mixed tuna trips are then deciding, well, let's take a couple of tilefish for the road as well, just to add to the box. Sometimes, of course, those deep water behemoths find their way inshore a bit. Brian Niddle, Ed Fulham, Kevin Wines, Ron Wines, and Brantley Niddle were fishing the Jersey Coast Shark Anglers Fluke Fever event last week. That's a mouthful, isn't it? They decided to take a break from fluking to look for bluefin on the Troll, 18 miles off of Manasquan. This 588-pound blue marlin hit a sterling purple wide tracker trolled behind a 24-foot Sportsman Center console. That is some catch. I know a lot of folks are going to say, look at that billfish, you should have let it go. When you're on a 24 Sportsman and you're looking for bluefin and end up with a nearly 600-pound blue marlin, a lot of times those fish aren't apt to get released because you're not backing down on it. It's a pretty tired fish. Anyway, you're allowed to keep one, especially only if you have that HMS permit. And marlin steaks, well, they ain't too shabby, I would say. By the way, congrats to Team Polarizer, who took the Ring of Honor last week in Jimmy Johnson's Quest for the Rings AC event out of Farley Marina in Atlantic City. Total of 716.6 points. The top cash winner, however, in that event, that was the crew of Jersey Nuts. Those folks running out of Atlantic City had top big eye of 135.5 pounds, along with a massive 50-pound mahi caught by Chris Robles. You can check out the Jersey Nuts fishing reports each and every week in the Fisherman magazine and look for their ad in the July edition of the Fisherman magazine. This one's gone cold. Talk to you about that in just a minute. Now, the midweek offshore weather forecast, according to the National Weather Service, you can expect some heavier winds along the Hudson to Baltimore stretch at some point from Thursday night to Friday night, with seas 3 to 5 during that stretch. But otherwise, it looks to be 3s and 4s and lighter winds, 5 to 10 knots along the canyon stretches for this weekend. Your inshore marine forecast out of Atlantic City has us looking at light seas on Saturday and Sunday with northerly breezes Saturday, east 5 to 10 on Sunday. Now, plenty of fluke catches in our reports from the past week. If you saw me out there on Sunday morning, you know that I don't have a lot to report. Sometimes you just don't have the hot hand. But there are a lot of Ritz cracker-sized fluke out there, I can tell you that. Again, some of these back bay locations are heating up, so a lot of the fish are moving closer to the inlets, deeper water, and that's why so many folks are having some better luck heading offshore. Perhaps, maybe, I just need a few lessons. Well, the pink minnows have a good teacher. The third class instruction by our own open boat maven Jenni Ackerman had the young ladies casting quantum strive combos for some fluke catches from shore. We will run down the inshore back bay and terra firma fluke action in just a few minutes, but first, a quick look at what Jenni Ackerman stumbled into on the floor of ICAST 2025 in Orlando, and some new tackle arriving in shops very soon.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's Open Boat. It's your lucky day because I literally snuck my camera into ICAST 2025 down here in Florida, and we're gonna check out some lures at the new product showcase, and I'm gonna pick some of my favorites that I'll definitely be using this coming season, so stay tuned. So the first lure that caught my eye is by Yozuri. It's their Pro Series glide bait, and I know a lot of you guys are finding these really popular for striper fishing up on the Northeast. And I like this, of course, it's a nice little paint job and everything too, really holographic, really eye-catching, and it has that rubber tail too, so it won't get mangled. And it retails for $24.99, which is really nice too. Also, we did the nails for ICAST, so we have fish nails. Let's see what else we have in store.
So one of the things that we see here at ICAST is we see stuff that we've never seen before. And I don't do a lot of trolling, but as soon as I saw this thing, I was like, what the heck is that thing? And then I started to look a little more closely, and my plug building mind started to work. And look at this thing. You can take a dead bunker, right? You pick this thing up, stick the whole fish in there, and then just impale that through the thing's skull. You put a hook on here, and now you're gonna troll this behind your boat. Probably could do it even behind a kayak with one of the smaller ones. And I mean, you're gonna take a dead fish, you're gonna bring it to life. I think it's a really innovative idea, and I voted for it at the showcase.
Very happy to see these guys in the new product showcase. We have my friends at Q8 Superbait with their giant 6-inch grubs, and if you guys have watched my recent open boats, you saw that I've been using these for fluke fishing, and they crush 10 times more strikes. Smells alive, tastes alive, and you know the fluke love them, so now we have one to pair with your bucktail if you're pitching up current. We have the smaller size, and now we have the biggies for big doormats, so definitely check these guys out. So now we're moving into a section that I am new to, but I am highly fascinated in, fly fishing. As you guys know from previous open boats, I'm getting into fly fishing, and I have to say I love it. So we're gonna highlight some of the stuff that they have here at ICAST for fly fishing. Something really nice that I appreciate being seen at these fishing shows is going down to the nitty-gritty of all the tying materials. Like we have a ton of nice fly tying materials. You have vices here at the new product showcase. Really nice to see the nitty-gritty of how it's made and new products being showcased on how to innovate making certain flies. So I love to see that. So this is really interesting by Fly Time Fishing. This is a patented quick disconnect system coupled with a slim, easy to use pre-tied leader storage system. Enables you to enjoy more fishing time and less time rigging. And if you fly fish, you know that sometimes rigging, especially with those thinner leaders, can take longer periods of time. And you even have some samples in there for you. So now we're inside of the ICAST main section, and I'm gonna hit up some booths and show you guys some products that I like from brands you all know and love. And let's get into it.
Move the lures, you see, pinch, coming, moving slow, you can do it fast, you can leave it on the drop, it's very powerful.
What's up guys, Seth Fighter, live at ICAST from the Rampolla booth. Got the clap tail, it's a plopper style bait from Rampolla. It's got a metal blade that hits a smaller metal blade that gives it a distinct clicking noise, calls those fish up in dirty water from deeper water. Really cool, different bait, plopper style bait. Also has a swivel hook hanger, so when you do get a bite and hook those fish, they're more likely to stay on, get them in the boat. Comes in a handful of really good colors, and yeah, just a new, different plopper style bait from Rapala.
So this is really cool, guys. Instead of fishing coloring books to get your kids into fishing, how about you have them create a lure, paint their own, and catch fish on their lure? And it won the new product showcase. And look at all these awesome samples from talented little anglers catching fish on lures that they made. So we had to make a pit stop here at Q8. My friends over here, they have new stuff like this pig paddle tail, honestly, for stripers, the new HP shrimps for flukes too. But look at all the products that they carry. Those big curlies you can see for halibut in Alaska. And then we have hyper alive eggs for if you want to use salmon eggs instead of killing off those females. To get their eggs, you use the imitations that catch just as many fish too. So that was a very quick run through of ICAST 2025, just giving you a little tease of what's to be seen featured in the Fisherman magazine for many, many, many weeks to come. I know my editors and I, we were running around getting our step counts up, meeting with a ton of companies and filming new product showcases with all of them. So stay tuned for the e-newsletters, which come out twice a week, which will soon be featuring those ICAST Spotlight Review product videos.
For more than 20 years, anglers everywhere have come to know one thing, that nothing says no to fish bites.
From north to south in New Jersey, along the Jersey Shore, it seems like everybody but me is catching fluke. 11-year-old TJ Nelson watches every week, and he was out with his dad fishing the Shrewsbury Rocks last week, got himself a 5-pounder along with a whole bunch of triggerfish. I've not tried it, but I'm told that with triggerfish, one of the ways you can cook them is you leave them in that hard skin. They're tough to cut because of that really tough skin, but some folks have told me that if you leave the meat in the triggerfish skin, put some butter and spices, salt and pepper on the top, and put it on the grill. Actually, you're almost poaching it in the butter on the grill, and you scoop it out. It's quite the treat. If you do try that, let me know. I plan on doing it at some point myself. Now, Nick Tallarico sent this shot of Pat O'Toole with a 25-inch, 6-pound fluke caught on a magic tail hoochie jig, one of my favorites. He was using a 6-inch gulp grub at the business end. The guys were fishing Little Leg Reef, and as the summer progresses, you want to look for more sizable fluke at this point on the reef and rocky structure off the beaches. As the water warms up, you're going to go with that cooler water. Those fish are going to head deep. But again, this is prime time for hitting the New Jersey artificial reefs and all those bumps and wrecks that you might know about off the beaches. You also have that 1 sea bass limit in place in New Jersey when working the structure. 9-year-old Ronan Gell was fishing the Bernie Perrant Family Fishing Day out of Cape May last week, and he got himself a black sea bass on that trip. Well done, Ronan. Talking snags, it's not to say you can't find the flatties out back. I also heard from Brian Craggs, who sent us this shot of 11-year-old Ben Darcy with a 23-inch summer flounder caught behind Avalon on Punchline out of Townsend's Inlet. First fish on his brand new rod. Congrats, Ben. Headboat options aplenty in New Jersey as well throughout the region. If you want to find out who's sailing, you can always pick up the July edition. Go to the middle of the magazine, our report section. It's like a yellow pages. You find out all the boats from Indian River Inlet in Delaware on up to the Atlantic Highlands on the Rare and everywhere in between. We have plenty of headboats sailing. And if you're like me, that you have that little bay boat, once that fluke bite turns off in the back, you're going to need some options to head out front. You can always do a charter, jump on board with a friend, or you open up your opportunities when you get out there on some of the headboats. For example, off the north end of LBI, the Miss Barnegat Light has been on a potpourri at sea of sorts. Bluefish, fluke, sea bass, We did hear some earlier reports this season of folks catching ling. I have not heard a lot about that of late. Smoked ling is about the tastiest thing you'll ever have. To the north, it was a good day for shell here on the Jamaica 2, working over that sticky stuff for Big Fluke out of Manasquan Inlet. I heard from John Sweeney the other day. He said, "Hey man, hope you're enjoying your summer." I am, actually. John said his buddy just caught a really good fluke. Said he's a subscriber and part of the Dream Boat Fishing Challenge here at the Fisherman magazine. So John had asked me, what's the biggest fluke that was weighed in this year? Well, as the lollipop crunching owl told the little boy in the Tootsie Pop commercial, let's find out.
It's July 24th, and here are the entries for the Fisherman's Dream Boat Fishing Contest. We have Long Island subscriber Dan Solomon from South Setauket bringing in his second entry to the challenge with a porgy of 2.19 pounds weighed in at Miller Place Bait and Tackle, putting Dan 10th in the porgy category. Next is Mike Zullo, Long Island subscriber from Massapequa, with the first sea bass on the board at 4.43 pounds weighed in at South Shore Marine Supply. With Dan's 10th place porgy, it changes the leaderboard this week to Rashawn Williams still at first with 17 points, Jeffrey Harrison taking second with 17 points, and Tom Luciano taking third at 16 points. Are you the best angler in the Northeast? Well, now is your chance to prove it. The Fisherman's Dream Boat Contest is back. Win this Steigercraft center console powered by Yamaha along with these other great prizes. Fish hard and weigh in as many of these species to be top on the leaderboard. What's the catch? You must be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine. All it takes is one fish on the board to win a great prize, so however you fish, you have a shot. For all the details and official rules, visit thefisherman.com.
It was a bit of a slower week in the Coastal Kayak Clash, but we had two really nice fish hit the board. The first one is a 26-inch fluke entered by David Kim, caught down in New Jersey. That is holding second place right now in the fluke category. And then Rotha Nong caught a 48.75-inch striped bass, which now holds second place in the striped bass category, and that shook things up a little bit at the top of the leaderboard. We now have Dustin Stevens still holding first place with 9 points. Tom Hood is in second place with 6 points, and Rotha Nong knocked off Todd Trions with his 48.75-inch striper, now holding third place with 5 total points.
Hey kayakers, the Fisherman's Coastal Kayak Clash Contest is back. Win this fully outfitted Hobie Mirage Lynx kayak from Yak Attack along with other great prizes. Catch and release as many of these species to be top on the leaderboard. To enter, you must be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine, fish from a kayak, and document your catch. Many chances to win great prizes, so get out there on the water now and fish hard. To be part of the action, you must be a subscriber and register at thefisherman.com.
Stop bait and tackle. This is how you start the day, end the day. In 20 minutes, you went back there and showed off. Yo, you on fire, cuz. You're the second person with 3 fish. I weighed in one all the way up to 7 pounds today, 7-1. And there's other fish that are coming in. They're talking about 7 pounds too. So I honestly think, man, this is a really nice, pristine fish. How big is this one?
20.
There you go. This is what time it is in Atlantic City, New Jersey. You agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Triple banging in AC. Send a shout out.
Shout out the row and one stop.
Banging in AC.
Triple banging must be Noel and Atlantic City at One Stop Bait and Tackle. But the jetties and backcountry waters are alive with fluke and you don't need a boat to get on them. That's what I'm trying to say. So you still have those options from the jetties. Farther into South Jersey you go, of course, you do have those sheepshead on the rocks. And again, next week we'll have the start of tog. But yeah, there's some fluke to be caught. Small jig heads or bucktails with fish bites or gulp. Keep it moving. Keep working your way around the area and bring yourself a soft cooler bag packed with ice to bring your fluke home. By the way, if you're in that Absecon Inlet area just north of Atlantic City over in Brigantine, this Saturday, bring the kids out to the 24th Street Beach at 8 a.m. and bring your fishing rod. It's for kids age 5 to 15. It's free. It's hooked on fishing, not on drugs. All hooks and baits will be provided by the Brigantine Municipal Alliance. You can get some more details by stopping over to Riptide Bait and Tackle, talk to Captain Andy, find out what's happening along the Brigantine beaches. Here's a young man hooked on fishing, Chase Darpino from Woodbridge. The 7-year-old is self-proclaimed as, quote, Chase the Catfish Catcher. Got himself a blue cat the other day while fishing with Dad Vinny. I dare say, deep fried with a few hush puppies on the side would be a nice treat on the dinner table. Invasive blue cats, eat them up. For more on the freshwater arena, catch and release, or pan fried, let's head west for a streamside update with my friend George Schauer, the Pocono Outdoors guy.
Well, hey, Jim, you know, when you think of days in the middle of summer, you usually think of bass up on those lily pads, maybe some smallmouth on the drop-offs, or maybe pulling a walleye off those weed flats at night. But all of our guests checked in this week, they were all out hunting stripers. Yeah, midsummer sweetwater stripers. And we got a few great things to share with you this week. My good friend Nick Canestra, well, he was out on Blue Marsh Reservoir, and he was targeting some of those hybrid stripers out there. And he had a really good day. And actually, he shared this little video with us of his live scope, and he was out targeting a whole school of these stripers, and he was pretty successful grabbing a few out of the pack. It's really neat to see these stripers school up, and it's pretty good if you can find that school and get a lure to them. Well, you're going to get a bunch of them on the boat, that's for sure. He actually shared a couple of the lures he was using. Just a simple jig head and some plastics does the trick, but get a bait down to those schools and you're probably going to get on some great fish. So great work there, Nick. I appreciate the feedback. Now, Will Gropper, he was up on the Delaware River. He's normally getting stripers off of Wallen Pompack, but he took his kayak over to the river and got on a few real nice stripers as well. So good work there. Charlie Roberts was out on the Delaware as well. Stripers he got on at night with live bait, so a good tactic there, guys. Even though stripers get a little bit fussy, live bait always seems to do the trick, so great work there, Charlie. Also, our good friend Tim Keebler targeting stripers on the Delaware as well. He had 7-year-old Zeke out on the boat, and he managed to get a nice little striper on his own. This little lad caught the striper all by himself. Tim said he fought it like a pro. Not too bad there for a 7-year-old. And I'll tell you what, great work there, and I expect we'll see a lot more out of Zeke in the years going forward. Guys, whatever you're targeting, be sure you get out on them. Maybe even a nice little mountain lake like this. Pull a brown trout if you can. But some great fishing this time of year, guys. Just go out and get on them. From Pennsylvania, I'm George, your Pocono Outdoors guy.
In the famed waters of Panama awaits a fishing experience like no other. Tropic Star Lodge welcomes anglers to get in on world-famous fishing action. Plan your perfect trip today. Tropic Star Lodge, the ultimate in fishing adventures for more than 60 years.
If you plan on hitting the beaches this weekend, bring along some of those small metals, those epoxies, the deadly dicks, the exo jigs. Keep an eye out for the terns and the working birds, maybe luck into a Spanish mackerel or a bonita. This is about the time of year when we start to see them. I'd like to see some more. Of course, you've got kingfish in the wash right now, hitting fish bites on high-low rigs. They're smaller fish, great on light tackle, bring the kids. And again, excellent fish fry at night. And when you're using those high-low rigs with the smaller hooks and the fish bites, who knows? You might do like Philly Billy from Charlie's Bait and Tackle in Normandy. Have little trigger fish banging away at that high-low rig. Most of the time, you're going to find them around the jetties or the reef structure, but you know they got to move through open water at some point as well. On the tournament calendar this weekend, the captain's meeting for the Cape May Marlin tournament is tonight, Thursday, July 24th. That runs through Sunday the 27th. It's hosted by South Jersey Tournaments and South Jersey Marina. For details, go to southjerseytournaments.com. Also, this Saturday the 26th, is the Pink Ribbon Fluke Tournament presented by the Staten Island Fishing Club. It's a women's only event supporting the American Cancer Society. Sign up July 25th at Captain's Marina on Mansion Avenue. For details, you can email sifishingclub@gmail.com. Now, for those without a boat or a kayak, shorebound anglers, surfcasters, Monmouth County, especially if you're wondering about that fluke bite in the surf, it's there. You just got to find it. Phil and the gang at the tackle box weighed in an 8.1 pound surf caught fluke for Peter Geruntho earlier this week from the beach. The grind pays off, is what Phil and the guys at Tackle Box said. Now, here's another look at that beach blanket. Peter emailed me details on Tuesday night, walking the beaches, working a 1/4 ounce jig tipped with a 6-inch white curly tail gulp. So yes, sometimes the grind does pay off. So you got to stick and move. If you're looking for fluke in the wash, got to remember, sometimes you got to stick and move. You got to work on it. Work those sloughs. If you've got a groin, work those groin holes. Those little sloughs that are right around the groin itself. And of course, you've got the jetties as well. Again, my apologies this week to Jennifer Aniston and anyone else I may have offended at any point during our weekly video fishing forecast from the Jersey Shore. Any censure, complaint, criticism, castigation, consternation, or expression of vehement discontent can be sent directly via email at thefisherman.com. You can find my email address on page 3 of the July edition of the Fisherman magazine, New Jersey, Delaware Bay. It's on newsstands now, but I mentioned it's getting cold because this one is going to get replaced by the August edition. We're working on that one on Sunday. So all the field editors, North, Central, South, Fresh, Beach, Offshore, Maryland, and Delaware, all our editors will have their reports in to me on Sunday. We'll compile them. Sunday night, the August edition goes to print. And I'll tell you next week exactly what we're going to find in that August edition as you prep for another month of summer. And boy, oh boy, is this summer going fast. I'll leave you this week with a short, sweet intro to ICAST. It's what we sent on Monday. But this is what you're going to find on a bi-weekly basis on our YouTube page at thefisherman.com and in emails that you get as subscribers twice a week from now all the way into 2026. God bless, and I'll see you out there.
We are here at ICAST 2025. Lots of new products out, including a lot of new rods, a lot of stuff you could see at your tackle shop in the future, and we're going to be covering it all. Stay tuned. A lot of cool stuff. I can't wait to mess around with this. Really nice.
You guys are in for a real treat here. Of course, the fish catchers this year are real eye catchers, and we're covering all of them at ICAST to show you guys what the fish are going to be biting coming into this year. Let's catch them up.
Another thing that we're seeing a lot of this year at ICAST is innovations in personal watercraft. We've got all this stuff here where now we got like SUPs that are also kayaks that are also dealing with the problems where like things are falling off your kayak. We also got these jet drive kayaks. That's going to be something I can't even hardly imagine what that would be like. And then we even got this lily pad thing over here, which is kind of a mind-blowing thing, but you never know what you're going to see at ICAST, and we're looking forward to showing you guys all this new stuff that they're innovating this year. Check it out.
So join Jenny, Matt, Dave, and I as we come to you with all the latest products, some new stuff, some old stuff that's new again, and for, I'd say the next year, at least into 2026, we're going to give you 2 new products a week to share with you the stuff that's coming out now in 2025 and the stuff that you can expect in 2026 from the world of tackle manufacturing here at ICAST 2025.